Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Eye of the Storm Astrology. I'm your host, Brian Easterday. So today I'm going to be discussing the next eclipse that we're going to see coming up, and this is going to be October 14th, and then there'll be another one that I believe it's either the evening of like the 27th or the 28th. It'll be 2 weeks later. But the one on the 14th I was looking at, and I found very interesting, and I've been keeping an eye on this one because it's going to be a very useful one to do ritual for. But this is also one that is going to have quite an effect on the macrocosm in society, because there's some very interesting things that we can see going on with it, especially in regards to certain things being destroyed through the process of lies and hidden information that's going to be revealed. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll dive right into this. Okay, so what we have going on here. First off, anytime you're reading a chart, especially from the Vedic perspective, it's always good to start by reading the Lagna or the Signet. That's the setup and the foundation for the entire chart. And what's really interesting with this one is that it's a Sagittarius Signet, but it's in the Nakshatra of Mula. And the Nakshatra is what I really want you to pay attention to here. Mula Nakshatra is symbolized by the tangled roots, and the goddess that rules it is Nriti, or Alakshmi, the elder sister of Lakshmi, and she represents unlucky things that can be destructive. It is also associated with Mahakali, so Mother Kali, this destructive, very feminine, very destructive type of energy in regards to things, but it destroys for proper reasons. So it wants to get to the truth of things. The way Mula Nakshatra works is it uses lies to destroy lies. So people with like Mula, if they are, for example, say there was a detective and he was questioning a suspect, and he was a detective that he had a lot of Mula energy in his chart. The way he would go about doing that is he would really try to identify contradictions within that suspect's story. Where are the lies at? Where can this thing not be true at the same time as this thing is? So when you see that these both can't be true at the same time, the lies destroy each other. That's kind of the energy of how Mula works. It has this energy of crushing and of also like tearing things apart. So again, very, very destructive nakshatra. This is a nakshatra that is also very close to a black hole. So it has that same type of energy of that pulling, that magnetism that will pull things towards it and actually rip it apart. If you actually look at the stars that make up this nakshatra, you can actually see that going on with them, that there's a series of 9 stars that form this nakshatra. And as they move around, they have a gravitational force to where they actually pull like large clouds of like gas material into them, and they will break it up and destroy it to distribute it to where it transforms it, and then it sends it back out. So it like pulls it in, breaks it up, tears it apart, and then sends it on its way. So this is a theme that we're going to be seeing here. So this being the Lagna or the ascendant here, this is going to be the overall theme of this chart. Now, Jupiter is going to be the ruler or the dispositor of this chart. And we see that Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Aries in the Bharini Nakshatra. And it is also sitting with Rahu, who is in Asalisha. And these two are together together right now currently as well. But so even though this is a few months away, Jupiter and Rahu, they're slower moving things. So Rahu still being in Asalisha, and it will be moving up to the point that it's almost going to be moving into Pisces, because keep in mind the nodes move backwards. Jupiter being in Aries is still this energy of the guru, but who has now learned the lessons that he knows what he needs to fight for, but now it's about coming out, and it's about fighting for those things. And Jupiter retrograde especially is when people can become critical of things that they believe. They can question belief systems or authority figures that they previously may have believed or taken their word for. So we can see some unveiling in this. And this Bharini Nakshatra is a very interesting one within Aries. And it has that same energy of Aries, that it deals with having a goal, taking action on things. But it is a nakshatra that's symbolized by a female elephant, like a pregnant elephant. So it has this energy of, although it is taking action, it does so in a way that it's not, it's more reserved, it's more patient. There's a better thought out plan. It's not the type of, it's the nakshatra in Aries that it doesn't just charge forward head first without looking. It will do things and take action on plans that require more timing, more planning. Like if you actually think about the gestational period of an elephant, they have one of the longest pregnancies of any planet on, or sorry, any animal on the planet. So whenever that baby elephant is born, it's a baby elephant. It's, it comes out and it pretty much can stand up almost immediately, and then it's really ready to just start going. It can already eat food, these type of things. So Bharini Nakshatra can have that type of thing. So what are we going to see here? We're going to see some revealing in regards to information being brought to everybody that has previously been hidden. And that is really going to make people question things, but it's going to be the type of information that when it hits, it doesn't take a long time for it to catch on. Like it really hits the ground running, so to speak. And that Rahu and Aslesha Nakshatra, that's really going to be a very charging forward, very straightforward type of energy. And Rahu is going to amplify that. So that's, whenever that big piece of information, whenever these big lies are revealed, that information is brought to light, it's going to take off very quickly. We'll see it spread very quickly, especially over things like the internet, for example. And obviously that's just because how internet spread, or that's just how information spreads nowadays anyway. But Rahu's sitting here, and Rahu represents the internet, these type of things. Now, when we get to looking at the actual eclipse itself, we see this eclipse happening in the 10th house. So it's going to be at the peak at about, I think I have a 12:59, so just before 1 p.m. In regards to where I am is when it's going to be hitting its peak. So we see that this is going to be going on right in the midday sun. The 10th house represents the noon sky. Okay, so if the first house is the eastern horizon, it's where the sun rises over there. The 7th house is the sunset, it's the western horizon. Then we have the 4th house, which is below us. It's midnight, it's nighttime. The 10th house, which is midday. Okay, so that's how you can see how the chart is structured around. So sun being at midday normally would have a lot of strength, but us experiencing an eclipse is definitely going to have an effect on the strength of that sun whenever this like happens, because it's like the sun and the moon are both kind of losing strength whenever this goes on. Now we can see that this is happening in Chitra Nakshatra, Ketu being here in Chitra as well. Chitra Nakshatra is all about one that can deal with the irritation that can come from things. It's symbolized by a pearl or a gemstone. And in the same way, just like a pearl is formed, it's formed through a process of irritation. That a grain of sand gets in that creature, and then it secretes a liquid that forms the pearl itself. In the same way, Chitra Nakshatra deals with this type of energy. It deals with specifically being able to take some type of frustration, some type of irritation, and then through a process or through a period, reveal that into something beautiful. So what we can see with this eclipse is there could be this theme of where irritation can be brought up through it, but eventually it's going to lead to something very beautiful. It's going to lead to something very interesting in regards to the hidden value, things that have been going on for a while, but that value is now going to be brought to the scene. It's now going to be revealed. Because keep in mind, this is also going into the 10th house, which that shows like fame, what we see in the world. Just like if you go out in midday, that's the easiest time to see something out in the world because everything's shining bright. Okay. Same concept here with the 10th house. So this is a very interesting one to see. You know, with Mars in the 7th in the Swati Nakshatra, not Mars in the 11th house in the sign of Libra in Swati Nakshatra, it's really going to be dealing with the energy of that warrior who wants to fight for justice. This is when Mars comes into Libra. It's a warrior who wants to fight for just things. And Swati Nakshatra is a nakshatra that is all about communication. It's ruled by the planet Rahu, because each nakshatra is ruled by a planet as well. So it will have qualities of that planet. So Swati being ruled by Rahu, it also deals with types of very quick communication, instant communication. So like the things that we see on the internet, other type of technology that are used for that. And Swati is all about honesty. When it comes to the type of communication it does, it wants things to be accurate. It wants them to be honest. Swati can be, for example, people Swati can be a very good salesman, but they're not going to be the person that's just going to push something on you just because they want to make a sale. They're going to be the type of salesman that like actually qualifies you. Okay, says, oh, what are you looking for? And then they try to best serve your needs. So they explain this option and this option and this option, and they genuinely try to provide, like push you towards, or not push you towards, but guide you towards finding the option that is actually the best fit and value for you. Swati is that type of energy. So when we see this going on in the 11th house, which is a larger social network circle, we can see again some elements of truth and things being revealed that are going to make people want to fight for some things. It's going to hit on their values. It's going to really challenge them with some of the information that comes out. So this is a very interesting a very interesting eclipse to be able to analyze, especially when we start looking at the nakshatras, because that's when a lot of our detail can really come out. Even looking at Saturn over here in the 3rd house of communication, Saturn is retrograde, so it's going to be like it's looking backwards, like it's observing things. So it's almost going to act like, because it's in Aquarius, it's going to act like it's looking back towards Capricorn, so to speak. Well, what is that? Capricorn's the government. These type of things. It's one thing it can symbolize. And the nakshatra this is in Shata Bishak. Now, Shata Bishak can deal with healing, but it also has this very strong theme of communication. Shata Bishak very much deals with the ears, listening to things. So we can see that there can be some revelations and things that can come out, especially in regards to governments and things where maybe information has been hidden, that is going to be more revealed, and certain consequences could actually start potentially coming about because of this. This also being noted by Pluto being in Capricorn here, and it's in the 2nd house, which deals with morals and values. So it can be information that when people find out what type of stuff what's going on, it's going to be things that very much shakes their values up. It makes them feel like they have that Shiva energy, that sense of destruction that Pluto can deal with. And it being in a nakshatra of Uttara is a nakshatra of victory. So a theme that we could see with this eclipse is that things are going to be shaken up, revealed, information, these type of things are going to come out. A lot of this is going to be very challenging, but ultimately it's going to lead in a type of victory, a type of transformation for us as a society as a whole to be able to go through, as well as if you were to work with this as an individual. So let's talk about this eclipse from the perspective of an individual. Now, first off, to really analyze it, you need to look at your Vedic chart, your sidereal chart. That way you're actually comparing the correct thing and seeing where the transits and how this is actually going to impact you. Because you would want to look at your chart to see where these transits are actually going to impact in your chart. For example, if you're a Sagittarius ascendant, this is what this transit is going to look like in your chart. But if you're a Scorpio ascendant, it's going to shift a little bit, so on and so forth. So find out what your chart actually is and see where this is actually going to be impacting in your chart. So for example, with the eclipse happening in the sign of Virgo, so that's, again, it's going to deal with, there's going to be a healing element to it, but a lot of times healing isn't a pleasant process because it deals with having to go inwards, reflect, see things, analyze things, because Virgo is the internal expression of Mercury. And Mercury sitting here, it's really, it's in its own sign. It's having strength here. So it's really going to bring out those qualities. So wherever Virgo is in your chart, that is the house. That is the area of life this eclipse is going to be affecting you personally. Okay. So then you can start to see where more of this is going to come up. Now, a great energy to work with for this chart is, as I said, if there's kind of an overall theme in it, it deals with things being shaken up and destroyed, transformed through things being revealed. This is a process, though, that is actually going to be a healing process, and that can end up creating some very beautiful opportunities and ultimate victory that we can have. So if you apply this to your own life, it's a really useful way to be healthy habits that I might have, that I need to get rid of. Addiction I need over is the destructive thought forms that maybe your children say you also that from this type of eclipse to work to get roots of things and to shake things up in a way that leads to transformation. Because keep in mind, this Mula Nakshatra, it's going on in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Guru. So it's destruction and it's transformation, but it's transformation for a spiritual purpose, for a higher purpose. It's really moving into, this is like the alchemical process that we're going through coming out of Scorpio. And now we're taking the energy from the inward internal expression of Mars with Scorpio. Now we're going externally with the lessons that we've learned and becoming Guru, becoming Jupiter, the external expression. So this is that energy that Sagittarius deals with. And Mula is that last bit of transformation, that last gateway of destruction that you pass through as you move into Sagittarius and on into Purva Shada and Uttara Shada. Okay. So some very interesting things here, and a great opportunity for not only making amazing personal transformation in your life, but as well as seeing transformation as a whole. So go ahead and pop this down here. Hopefully I wasn't having too bad. I just noticed I had a connection issues thing. So I hope that wasn't too bad and didn't have anything going on where people missed out on anything. If it was, let me know in the comments and I can repeat anything that I need to. Yeah, this is definitely an eclipse that I am very much looking forward to. So if you are interested at all in being able to figure out how do you calculate and design ritual specifically for being able to work with this eclipse, one of the services I offer is being able to look at people's charts and create a personalized ritual for them. So that includes a pre-recorded video that I go and explain all the different parts, the elements of the ritual. I look at the chart, explain it, and explain to you why you're working with that certain thing and how you're going to go about doing that. So you really understand the essence of each of the pieces of the ritual and it can apply it and get the most effect from it in that way. So if you are interested in having a personalized ritual made for you based off of your Vedic chart that you can use at any time or specifically for the eclipse, feel free to scan the QR code and that will actually take you to it, where I have them half off right now on sale. if anybody is interested in that. So let me check the chats here real quick and see what we got going on. Cody, yes, you've been looking forward to the eclipse as well. Yes, it's going to be a very, very good one. And yeah, with Mula being close to the back, so it's out in that arm of Sagittarius. So it has that strong gravitational force, and that black hole is actually one of the things that leads to the gravitational force that is involved in Mula. If you actually check out on Kapal Raj's channel on KRS with the Pi team, the interviews they do on the Nakshatras, and if anybody's interested in learning more about Nakshatras, totally recommend to go check out that channel and that resource. It's awesome. They have videos on each of the Nakshatras that are like 2 to 4 hours long. So if you like really want to nerd out and get in depth into it, I totally recommend checking their stuff out. And they have a couple of them on Mula Nakshatra. Very, very interesting to see. So yeah, go ahead and wrap this up here, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you guys have any questions at the end, or like I said, you want to know how this is going to affect your chart personally, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to help anybody find that information that they need to. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next one.